Well, folks, we are live. As you could see in me as I fumbled through the intro. I do apologize for that. Welcome to the Priory of the Phoenix. I am, of course, one of the co-founders, Calibus Rand, and with me today we have the Mandalorian Mystic. She was the winner of our biggest giveaway to date. She got the bucket, she got the shirt, she got the hat, she got the flag, the banner. It was such an amazing giveaway. And then as I went through everything else, I noticed you on TikTok and I loved your videos.
Thank you.
And that's what drew me to you. And then you and I had a conversation. And we're going to get into that later. But I want to know, how did you get your name and what started you down this path?
Well, I've always been a spiritualist. I've always been someone who has had this gift within me. And I've always practiced it on and off through the years. I just um, have transposed it basically into the Mandalorian lifestyle. I became a Mandalorian because I believe in the creed and the tenets, and I believe that it's a certain way of life that we'll get into later, I'm sure. But I honestly think that. It was like an amazing compliment to each other, and I felt like that was something that was really missing in the Mandalorian community was the spiritual aspect of what it means to be a Mandalorian and be in the creed in the real world. You know what I'm saying? So I think I kind of lost you there, Cass.
No,
There you
I'm
are.
here.
Okay. But so, yeah, like, where did he go? But yeah, so that's, I mean, I've always had that gift. I've always been spiritually inclined all my life. And I have, like I said, I have practiced on and off in different ways. But this just once I decided to really become a Mandalorian and take the creed in the real world. I got very involved with the religious movement, and I felt like they actually approached me because I was the only person who really was doing anything spiritually. Um, in the whole culture. I mean, it was like unheard of at that point. So I mean, my spirituality is taken from a lot of different venues, you know, like a lot of different cultures. I studied with a Wiccan master. I studied all of the major religions, and you know, and how I grew up myself. Uh, so I wanted to transpose that in a way that was beneficial to the warrior way of life. So I truly believe that I am living in the sense that I am the warrior in the garden. You know what I mean? I am of peace, and I know that if you don't have mind, body, and soul all together working as one unit, then like anytime there's a piece missing, you're not at your best, you're not 100%. And part of the true meaning of being a real life Mandalorian is to be the best that you can be in all ways. And a lot of people just think that it's about putting the armor on, but the truth of the matter is anybody can wear the armor,
Yeah.
but not everybody can live up to the armor, and it's what the armor represents that is actually what we are and who we are and what we should be about. So I wanted to bring the spiritual aspect into that. Plus, a lot of people are going, you know, when I first became Mandalorian, I went through a big shift. I don't know if you did too, but I went through a big shift in my mental state and how I thought about myself and my life. And it really made me take stock in what I was doing, who I wanted to be, how I wanted to represent myself, and was I actually really like fully together. And I did realize that I had a lot of pieces in my life that were broken, that I needed to go and fix. And while I was doing that, I was working too. And the working was actually healing me as well as healing the people that I was working with, because I realized that this is what's really missing when it comes to, I mean, it's missing in life, period. But especially when you're trying to obtain a level of honor and distinction, you can't do that if you're not spiritually sound, you
Yeah.
know? So my job is to, if somebody is having issues, I try to help them through my spiritual beliefs and through my spiritual way. I mean, basically what I do is I help people to help themselves. That's really who I am. I mean, you've seen me do it.
Yeah.
That's who I am. Like, am I a card reader? Yes, I am. A lot of people don't. The problem is that a lot of people look at it with the wicked things that I do. They are, they put me in a box. Oh well, she's a witch, she's a wick, and I'm not. I'm a Mandalorian first and foremost, before anything. I use the gifts that I have in the way that I can understand them so that I can help people in the best way that I can. They happen to be through cards and through spirit and through uh, intention work. Like I used to call my work spell work, but I stopped doing that. I call it intention work now, because it really is about what your intention is and how you view yourself. If you want to change, you're going to change. I can't change anybody. All I can do is guide. You know what I'm saying? Um,
Definitely.
and I really felt like that. I see it in the Mandalorian community. I see that that's just missing. Um,
Hmm.
I see that people don't take it seriously like I do. I'm not saying that I'm the epitome of, but the people that I mesh with the most are the ones who take it the most serious, that they actually live it on a day-to-day basis. And when you have issue and you have problem, it's nice when you have someone in your own community that you can turn to for help. And that's really what I am here to do. That's my service to my community. Not to be cliche, but we are stronger together, and we have to. Um, that's my gift. I always say on my lives that you need to help those that can't help themselves. That is our mission. That is what we do. There's a lot of charity work that gets done through the Mandalorian communities. An immense amount of charity work for children and toy drives and stuff. And I'm so proud of that they do that. That's why. And I'm like, okay, what can I do to give back to the community? So that's what I chose to do, is to give my gifts to the community. And not just Mandalorians, I do it for other people too. Anybody who needs it. That's part of being a Mandalorian, is to help those that can't help themselves. So if I'm not exclusively doing this for only Mandalorians, of course, but that is the basis now of why I do it and the style that I do it. Like my Reiki healing, my energy healing is a Mandalorian style energy healing. We work with the warrior within, how to heal the warrior within, how to heal those scars through energy work. Um, some people don't like it. Okay. you know,
We're
every,
not, we can't please everybody. You know what I mean? It's impossible. It's like, when I made the switch, because I'm a co-founder, so I have someone else I have to talk to it about, and the car is the one. So when we sell the t-shirts and stuff, we normally give that to the Wounded Warriors thing. But when I told him, I said, I've been thinking, I said, I was talking to the Mandalorian Mystic, man, and, how serious are we about this? Are we just doing this for views? Are we doing this for numbers? What are we doing with the Priory? We say we want it for Mandalorian culture. We want it for the Mandalorians. I don't care if you're Mando Merc, Mandalorian Clan Misfits, or just a lone Mandalorian out there. The Priory was supposed to be a place that you could come, you know, And if you can remove your helmet, remove your helmet or whatever, and just be Mandalorian. You don't have to worry about if this is going to be accepted in this group because we accept you as a Mandalorian.
Right.
And when he was talking to me, he was like, "Well, what do you think?" And I said, "Well, we got to get more serious, man. We just can't put pictures up and hey, and these silly little memes. Are we walking the walk and talking the talk? Or are we just BSing our way through this? Are we just another
Well,
fan group?"
that's the thing. That's where the disconnect happens a lot. There is, you know, I feel like the religious movement, again, like I said, I'm involved in the religious movement that has pushed the United States to recognize being a Mandalorian as
Real
um
religion.
a real I mean,
Yeah.
it's not a it's a creed, but we do call it a religion, even though it's a creed, and there is a difference. But that being said, and they have made a lot of headway. It's still, we are recognized as uh, uh, like a faction in the United States. They accepted it, uh, not last May, but the May before that they did. But it's still, there's still some technicalities and lawyers and money and stuff like that. But the thing is, you have to have a place where we can talk about the only way that you're going to engage people in understanding what it means to be a real Mandalorian and to be serious as you're talking about is to talk about it and to have a place where we can talk about it and bring other people in, get their
Hmm.
ideas on what it is. Talk about the tenants. It's important to talk about the tenants. It's important to post about the tenants, what they mean. People can't always, people see the tenants written out and they're on cute little memes or they're on memes, with the Mandalorian thing and everything. And they read it for 1 second, but that's not, they don't absorb it. It doesn't become part of them. And that's what needs to happen to have a serious place, other than the religious movement, um, where we can actually talk about these things. I know that the religious movement has a Discord that is very serious as well. And they have a lot of people come on and talk about the tenants and give lectures about the tenants and stuff like that. And I think it needs to be more accessible on like the other, like Facebook and TikTok and stuff like that,
Right.
that there's a place where um not just the Discord, that you can hear these lectures and have people, ask questions about it. And that's a big thing too, like people want to know, well, what about this? Well, what about that? How does this work? And they really have nowhere to turn because there's no one to really answer them.
True.
But it is hard. It's a fine line that we walk because our creed has come from fiction. So it's a very, a lot of people don't take it seriously. They just don't. And we have to be serious if we ever want to be respected and taken seriously in the real world scenario. I know that there are hundreds of thousands of Mandalorians like who have actually taken the creed and lived the creed around the world. Um, but it's not looked at because it comes from Star Wars, because it comes from fiction. It's not looked at as a serious thing. Um, I actually got into a not an argument, but like a discussion with a friend of mine, and who said to me, she's like, it's not that. How can you be serious about being a Mandalorian? It's not real. It's not real. And I'm like, well, what constitutes something being real? Like she's like, it's not a real religion. It's not real. It comes from fiction. And I'm like, listen, every religion came from what? It came from belief. That's what it came from.
Right.
The basis of all religions comes from believing in what someone heard or someone saw. That is the basis of all beliefs, all creeds, all everything. That's, you know what I'm saying? So,
Definitely.
if we believe in that, if we believe in the creed, if we believe in the tenets, if we believe in walking that way, then yes, it is real. It's just as real as anything else. It's how you believe in something. All religions came from the mind, the heart, the soul. That's where it all came from. Whether they heard something, they, heard God, heard spirits, heard angels, whatever it is, you know, we have a calling. We heard the calling through. It may have started in fiction, but in a story, gee, there are no stories in the Bible, are there? I mean, this is how religion is born, is through stories, through beliefs, through things that technically are supposed to make us better people and live better lives. So that's how, in my opinion, I mean, we're very young. We're very, very still a very young creed. We're a very young religion, if you will. And it's going to take time and perseverance, and it's going to take people who actually do this, like, really in real world scenarios, to be taken seriously.
No, definitely. I've changed a lot since our talk, and then I've undergone some other things, surgery and everything else. And the more and more I invest my time and I think about it, like you said, how do I want to present myself? You know what I mean? When I wear these dog tags with my chain code, when I'm wearing this hat, it's a representation of what we are. My car says Beskar 7 and it's got Mandalorian writing on the back of it, and people, hey Mando, and I stop and I look at them, it's that feeling of wanting to have that thing. So Dakar and I had decided that we were going to take a more serious turn towards what we were doing. Yes, we want followers, but at the same time, I'm not going to, if the movement stops at wherever the number is that we have, it stops. Because I want everyone to understand that this is not, a play thing that we're trying to do. Yes, it's cool to share the pictures and everything else, but, I wear something Mandalorian every day. I love that. That's me. That's my thing. That's my
Right.
itch. You know what I mean? So, um,
Well, that's actually part of, I mean, it is actually one of the tenets, is that you are supposed to represent in some form or fashion of armor, or whatever, every day. I do believe in that. I also know from my own, for me, uh, walking the walk and being, you know, living it that way. That's my representation. That's, you can, like I said before, you can wear the armor, you can wear the stuff, you can have fun with, but if you're not walking the walk, it's meaningless. You know
yeah,
what I mean? I mean, we talk about, the armor. I'm looking at my helmet here. The armor is supposed to, I always reach back when I talk about, the armor is supposed to represent its own spirituality as well. People don't realize that too. It's in canon, it's in the tenets, that the armor carries its own life, basically, its own spirituality. And you are supposed to, like, meld with the armor. Like when people get, I've talked to, I mean, of course I've talked to a million Mandalorians at this point, but when they get dressed up and, for cosplay and all of that stuff, they feel it. They feel the
yeah,
role. And I'm like, that's what your armor is supposed to do for you. You become one with that armor. And the armor is supposed to represent honor. It's supposed to represent your loyalty, not only to your clan, not only to the community, but to yourself as an individual. It's being a Mandalorian is about discipline. I've changed my entire life in the last couple of years. I mean, upside down changed it. And a lot of it had to do with the fact that I started taking it incredibly serious, how I'm going to walk this walk. And a lot of it is, it's discipline. There is a discipline about being, I mean, if you look at any of the warriors from the past, the Vikings, the samurai. That they all, it's discipline.
Yeah.
There's no, you cannot be serious about your life if you have no discipline. It's just impossible. And it's not just in the in like taking care of your armor, taking care of your soul, I mean, it's everything. I mean, it's how you wash your dishes, how your house is, how your environment is, how you deal with other people, how you talk to other people, how you treat other people. These are all representations of this right here. That's who we are. That's what represents us. And you have to, and again, discipline is so important. And when you find discipline, being a Mandalorian made me find discipline. And once I found discipline, my entire life changed for the better. It's like I was born again. Like, I know that sounds ridiculous, but I was like born again into a new person, you know?
Yeah. It just doesn't sound ridiculous. I mean, I always, for me now, when I say Calibus ran, my birthday is not the day of my birth, but it was the day of my rebirth. So
Thank
October
you.
23rd is my new birthday. You know what I mean? I'm not going to celebrate when, I was birthed, but my rebirth, because everything changed for me. I knew I had to do something different. I underwent surgery and I had to lose a lot of people. I had to lose some family and it
Wow.
hurt. It
Really?
hurt. Oh God, yes. People that I never thought that would ever turn me away turned me away,
Wow.
and I was just broken. And then it just started making sense. I don't hate you. I still love you. It's just that I'm not going to deal with you anymore. You're going to
Right.
stay over there, and I wish you the best, but don't come back over here.
Well,
It's there.
that's what happens. When you start to take a new discipline in your life, the old things that don't fit into that discipline fall away.
Yeah.
And it can be painful. It can be painful. My whole life, listen, I was engaged for almost 11 years to the same person, and um, one of the biggest changes and I had to, he just wouldn't, he didn't fit into the scenario of my life anymore. And he didn't want to. So it was a big loss and it took a lot of time to get over it. But it was the right thing. You can't be around toxic things anymore. And the more you honor yourself and your soul and your well being and your area and everything around you, when you look through that visor, when you don't have the helmet on, and that's the way you see the world, things absolutely are going to fall away, but in the end it'll be better for you because you come through. It's like the phoenix, you walk through the fire. You know what I'm saying? You have
Yeah.
to walk through the fire. And people, and there are things that are going to get burned away. It's just the way it is when you're reborn into a new life and a new way of thinking. There are always going to be people that don't agree with you, and there are always going to be people, um, this is why not everyone can eat at your table. Exactly. That's
Yep.
exactly the right way to look at it. You have to realize, and that's one of the biggest important factors of having your community. And being serious on this page makes me happy because this is a place where people can come together that are going through this. That is what I specialize in, is people going through the change. It's hard. It's not easy. People, I can't make someone change, but if somebody wants to change and they need guidance, that's usually when they come to me. That's when they find me. That's when that's when they want the guidance, because they're not exactly sure. They know they want to get to the other side, but they're not exactly sure how to do it. And being a Mandalorian, if you take it seriously, you are going to have people that fall away from you.
Yeah.
Just like anything else, you know. You and I both are on the same journey in different ways. And I know that it's, um, some people don't like it. They look at it like, you know, and that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. If somebody is not going to support you or is not going to help you, I mean, what are you going to do? You can't change people. You can't. And you can't expect them. You can't listen, you have to worry like about yourself. You can't worry about what everyone thinks of you and what everyone. And if you lose people, that's on them, you know? It really is. It's hard, it's sad, but it's on them. And we just have to keep walking forward and doing what's right for us in our life, you know?
Most
And I think
definitely.
this is part of the spiritual aspect that's missing, that people like they don't feel like they have a place, you know, if they take it seriously and they start walking this way seriously, they don't have anyone to talk to about these things. And I think that we need people to talk about these things, you know?
Definitely. Well, look, this is what I want to do. I've already
Yes.
made you an admin in the page.
I am here.
Um, I think I want every 2 weeks you and I come in here. Let's talk about the tenants. Let's talk about our language. Let's talk about, maybe we can get some interaction with some of those that are out there.
I would love
So,
it.
you
I
know what I
would
mean?
love it.
So, guys, if you're listening to us from the Priory of the Phoenix, unfortunately, the setup isn't, well, you saw the link. It's for YouTube. So, we're going to want you to come onto YouTube. You can ask questions. You can talk to us because we're bringing this from the Priory of the Phoenix to you. The Mandalorian Mystic and me. We're bringing this to you. On the page, I want you guys to celebrate being Mandalorian. I don't just do Mando Monday to sell action figures at Yester Toys. I do it because I'm proud to be a Mandalorian. Okay? Now, Fandom Friday, Fandom Force Friday, that's a gimmick. That's to sell, but not Mando Monday. Okay? Mando Monday is important to me because that's who I am. And all of you are in the Priory because at one point or another you found something in your life that you gravitated towards and you went, ooh, I like that. Now, I'm not saying don't post up the pictures, but I am saying take this a little bit more seriously than you have been,
Yeah,
and know that.
we'll start making some. I'll start making some posts that are more geared towards, the religious movement, what, how, and the tenants and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Anybody can reach out to me. You can find me on Facebook. I am under Beth Elliott. That is my private account. If anybody wants to reach out or needs any spiritual guidance, needs any spiritual help, um, readings, Reiki sessions, anything like that, you can reach out to me. You can reach out to me through the Priory of the Phoenix as well. And I will make sure that I get back to you, or you can reach out to Cal as well, and he can, he will get you in touch with me if you have questions. And we can definitely do this more. And, I think it'd be a good idea maybe if we pose like a space where people can ask questions. What do you want to hear? Like, what do you want to know about? What is bothering you? What do you need? And then when we do our sessions here live, we can address those issues, you know what I'm saying?
So I will post it up 2 days before we come on. We come on now. We're you and I are doing this Tuesdays, well, no, Thursdays at this time. So every 2 weeks. So I believe that is what. Ooh, is that like on the 30th? Yes, it
Yeah,
is
let
on the
me let
30th.
me think about that, because Thursdays are actually when I do my prosperity rituals on
Oh,
TikTok. If we, I don't know what's happening with the band, who knows? I mean, it's very. I actually started this whole thing. I started on Facebook, and then I moved over to TikTok because it was,
bigger.
TikTok.
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly what's happening with the ban, if it's going through or whatever. But yeah, usually Thursday nights I do a prosperity ritual. It's Mandalorian style, to bring health, wealth, and well-being. And I would, so I don't know if Thursday is going to be the day,
Well,
but
okay,
we'll talk
whatever
about
day.
it.
Yeah, we'll talk
We'll
about
make
it.
a
We'll get a day.
plan.
That
We'll make
sounds
a
great.
plan. Tuesday may be the right day to do it.
Well, that's that works for me. Let's
Yeah,
let me see. So the 27th. Oh no, no, the 28th. Even better.
that's fine.
28th.
I don't have my calendar. I'm talking through my calendar.
So what I'll do is on Sunday I'll post up a pinned post saying, "Hey, if there's anything that you would like to know, anything that you'd like to, ask a question about for Tuesdays."
Subjects,
Yep.
things. Yeah, I want to know what people want to know about,
Okay.
and how we can help them to become more stable in the Mandalorian community, and what they need. Um, and I think that I was going to say something. I totally left my mind. Um, God, old age, it sucks. Oh, this is what I was going to say. Don't think though that we don't love the comedy stuff, okay? Because I'm gonna tell you, Mandalorians have the best sense of humor going, and I love that shit, and that's not gonna stop. So don't think that yes, we're serious. Yes, we want to bring a little bit more of a serious vibe and get into the spirituality of being Mandalorians, etc., etc. However, there is always room for silliness and chaos and craziness. So please feel free to put your posts up there that are funny, because there's nothing more healing in the entire world than a good, deep ass laugh. So, and believe me and Cal have very similar sense of humor. So you don't ever feel like you can't post that silly stuff up there. We love that stuff too. All right. But yeah, I think this is a good plan, and I think that it's a good platform that we can do this, and maybe help some people really in the real world here,
I like that. I
doing
like that
that.
a lot.
So I really appreciate you having me.
Oh, look, I've been trying to get people on that help the fandom because as Star Wars fans, we're so divided about who likes this, what is this, and you're toxic if you don't like that. And I was just like, I want to cut through the BS. I want to find people that get it, that want to further the fandom, that are positive in their own right. And I'm telling you, there was something there when I saw you doing your stuff, and I was like, oh, she does readings too. And then when we started talking, you got my gears thinking, and now I'm on this nice little set track. And of course, with the car, um, who has been just my ride or die, he pulled me out of a dark place because Gore was the one that really started this for me. I didn't want any of this.
Oh, really? Yeah,
I
I
did
didn't know
not
that.
want to do any of this. And he passed like 4 days before Christmas.
Oh,
And
jeez.
and that was 4 years ago. And for a while I was just walking around like nothing was wrong. And one day I just died at work. I couldn't stop crying. I didn't know what was going on. I felt guilty because I felt like I should have been there for my friend and I wasn't. And then I just spiraled down. And then that was the car who said, all right, get your shit together. You have a lot to do. And one night we stayed up until like 5 in the morning, and this poor guy has to get back up and be to work at 7. And we stayed up. We came up with the Mythosaur logo,
Yeah,
and we made the Priory. Now the Priory didn't take off until last year,
I
thanks to
remember.
Taco. Yeah, thanks to Taco Cat, thanks to Jada and Amy uh, and Tyler and Steven and
It
the
actually took
Misfits.
off a lot more faster, is that proper English? A lot faster than I expected. I remember when it first came around, and we would talk, and you would talk to me a little bit.
Yeah.
It was a little bit after, but still I was like, It really has taken off, and I'm
right?
happy to see that, you know.
It exploded. We had that, and then I had to scramble because we're doing this giveaway, and I kept telling the car it's never going to happen. The car is like, when it happens, we're going to have to shell this stuff out. So start saving your pennies. And I'm like, okay, but we were fortunate enough. We have Rodney Santos over at Three Luchadors. He provided the bucket, and then when you won, I was like, this is great. We have a legitimate personality that won this, and she loves it.
Yeah,
So I was happy, and you got the first design tank top. We've never done that before. We've
I
never
still
done
have
that
that.
before. So it
I
was
have the
like,
banner. I have
yeah,
everything. I still have the bucket. I actually, that bucket needs to be done.
yeah.
I'm not an armorer, so I'm a
Look,
spiritualist.
I'm
I'm not an
telling you,
armorer. I need somebody to do it, but I actually that's my son's. I gave it to my son.
yeah.
Like that's going to be done for him. So
I hear that. I mean,
yeah.
that's the thing, And now we're doing the. If we get 2,000, I'm gonna get a droid because we like droids. You gotta have a
Uh,
droid.
I
So
thought
we're gonna.
Mandalorians didn't like droids. Is that me? I'm
Din
just kidding.
definitely doesn't, but
I
you know,
mean, we're getting close to that actually becoming a reality at this
yeah,
point too. Thank
yeah,
you,
we
Elon
definitely
Musk
are.
and Boston, Technics. But yeah, I think that the art, whenever anybody, it's so funny too, because whenever anybody puts up, that they're afraid of AI, and they're afraid of robots and this and that, because of the Terminator movies and all that stuff, which I understand, and I robot. My answer is I always put a picture of R2D2 and C3PO. I'm like, come on. You wouldn't want them around? Come on. Come on. You're looking at the wrong droids, guys. You're looking at the wrong ones.
Oh man, it would definitely be a little something, but I think we
I
got
mean, if
something
they
good
all
here.
looked like C3PO, everyone would love them. I mean, come on. Right? So,
That's true. That's true. Although I think I would want me one of those the first little clankers.
yeah, the
Roger
clankers.
Roger,
Mm, Roger,
running around
Roger.
Roger
Yeah,
Roger.
I know. Well, we already have like to me, whenever I see like a Roomba, I always think of those things that go,
The mouse
like in
droids.
on the Death Star,
Yeah, the
those
mouse
little
droids.
square things.
The little mouse
I'm
droids.
like I'm like that's definitely Empire right there. I'm like Empire, but yeah, I mean it's everything in life is perspective and how you look at it. And there's always a different way to look at something. And sometimes you just need somebody to point out the other perspective. And that can make a huge difference in everything you do, and it can change your whole life at times. But yeah, I'm very happy to be here, and I'm very happy to do this with you. And I appreciate you taking the interest to further the spirituality within the Mandalorian community. And again, if anybody needs to contact me, you can contact me through the Priory, through my Facebook page, my TikTok, or you can directly ask Cal, and he will get you in touch with me. I'm here for you guys. From my heart plate to yours, this is the way.
Oh, look at this. So Archer's killer man.
R2 is a masculine.
And the car wants Chopper. Oh, go figure. That's a mass murdering droid right there. But guys, I want to thank you. We'll be back on the 27th to further this cause. So thank you for joining us, and I want to thank my special guest, the Mandalorian Mystic, very much.
Glad to be here.
So
This is the way.
this is the way.